Hey there, you ready to spit some fire today? Woo! Let's do it! DOYO Live Daily. Let's go for it. I don't think I can have this flame shooting out of my mouth the entire time I'm going to burn down my house. So let me switch the flame off here really quickly. There we go. All right. Hey, might as well try a new look. If that doesn't suit you, how about this? Nah, maybe this. This will work. This is very appropriate, right? No, maybe we'll. Oh, here we go. I've been into this Daft Punk phase more recently, so this is appropriate. I think we'll run with the space helmet. So anyway, hey, it's Jeff. Thanks for joining DOYO Live Daily. And the topic of today is breaking the tyranny of choice for content creators. We're going to dive into this topic, something we wrestle with every single day. We have so many choices out there. I'm going to take the helmet off and relax and spend a few minutes here. So excuse me while I get rid of the effect. But no, so here we go. Breaking the tyranny of choice for content creators. I'm thrilled to be on the DOYO Live Daily today with Dennis. And the big question is, and something we struggle with every single day, is we have so many choices. We have, what content type do we produce? So, let's just step back a second. If we're a content creator, meaning we want to grow our business, build trust and credibility, scale our relationships, scale our revenue, content is a digital asset, and content is the best way to engage your prospects and customers at scale, right? Because Google has trained us that having a strong content strategy is really the way to be discovered these days. So to the extent that we have so many choices out there, the first set of choices, what content type do we produce? Do we write? Do we blog? Do we do podcasting? Do we take an audio-based approach? Or do we take a video-based approach like this Facebook Live approach? So that's an important choice right there in and of itself. Which content type do we activate? And that has to be an intersection of what works for us and for our style and delivery mechanism and personality, and also what works more importantly for our audience. We're going to get into that in a second. So not only the content type, so that's something we're wrestling with, the tyranny of choice, but then what platform do we use for distribution and engagement? So it's not only how do we get our message and our content out there, but how do we drive an engagement strategy? And the engagement strategy is a little different for each one. And we have so many choices, it's mind-boggling. It's actually quite frustrating. And it's something I struggle with every single day. We have a tyranny of choice. And this concept, there's actually a book out there called The Tyranny of Choice. And even prior to that, a research study by a Professor Schwartz called The Paradox of Choice. And net it says this is more geared towards the consumer packaged goods industry. Think about cruising down the aisle of a grocery store and having 24 different SKUs of peanut butter, crunchy, no salt, gluten-free, creamy, you name it, there are way too many options. And so what he found in the paradox of choice is that as consumer, it harms us. It creates pain if we have too many choices. We'd rather have fewer choices and just make our lives easier, and we'd like to get going. So that paradox of choice, I think, rings true in this world of content marketing, and really trying to, once again, just help our prospects and customers solve their problems, and in doing that, telling our story. So there's a paradox of choice from that standpoint, and I actually call it the tyranny of choice, because sometimes there's so many options, so many things we have to choose from. What content type do I do? Video, audio, written, or what platform do I jump? I'm constantly going back and forth between YouTube and Facebook from a video strategy standpoint, and which one's more effective and which one is right for the message and for the audience. And I think that's what it boils down to when we think about breaking the tyranny of choice. How do we break the chains and just get away from this frustration or this anguish? Because it's a lot of anguish from that extent. In fact, there's so much anguish, I'm going to spit some fire right now. It's annoying. It drives me crazy how much the tyranny of choice impacts my daily choices and my order of succession when I do production. So we'll stop spitting fire for a sec and get into happy mode. So we're happy. We do have choices. We have lots and lots of choices. It's amazing the amount of choices we have. And so we live in a culture and a society that affords us a wide variety of choices. We're very lucky as humans to be in the environment we're in, to have all of these choices. And it's going to knock off the headdress there. So how do we break the tyranny of choice? What can give you less anguish? What's the tool or the technique we can use to break the tyranny of choice? So I have a tool and a technique I use on a consistent basis. It's something that I find helpful. I'd love to know what you think. So first of all, tell me, how do you break the tyranny of choice? Before we get into the one solution of many, love to know how you break the tyranny of choice in your content strategy. What content type do you prefer? And what's your distribution and engagement platform? So we'd love to know how you're breaking the tyranny of choice, and I think our community would really appreciate everyone's perspective on breaking the tyranny of choice. So look forward to your feedback there. So let's get into the solution, right? Let's really get into create a solution. There's a world out there that's amazing, and from a scientific perspective, I have something to solve the problem. This is amazing. But you don't have to be a sly fox to get it done, right? You don't have to be crafty. You, whoa, whoop, that's not good. This might work. All right, we're going to get back to no effects here. Can't do that. So how do we break the tyranny of choice? It all starts with the content marketing strategy and mission statement. So this is something that should alleviate your mental anguish to some extent. And we've talked about this before, but if you start out, so how do you get started with a content strategy or a video marketing strategy? You get started. So what's the best method to get started with a strategy, other than just doing it? Take a few minutes to plan the strategy, right? So focus on the what and why. So what result do we want? What's our purpose? Why are we doing it? What outcome do we desire? And I frame that in the content marketing strategy and mission statement from our friends at the Content Marketing Institute. And you answer 3 simple questions. And those 3 simple questions drive this governing strategy. And the goal of the content marketing strategy and mission statement, and the fact that we call it a governing strategy, is your go forward plan is to not do anything. Don't produce one single piece of content. Don't do a single post that doesn't directly and consistently align with the content marketing strategy and mission statement. So what is the content marketing strategy and mission statement? How do we work through that process? It's very simple. Who's the target? What's delivered? And the outcome for the audience. And if we answer those 3 simple questions, and it takes time to really drill in and answer those 3 simple questions, we should be able to produce a governing strategy which we print off and hang up on our wall, even laminate if you want, to make it feel very permanent. And that governing strategy should guide our content production for the foreseeable future, for the near term. And if you think about who's the target, so the more niche, the better, right? The more we can niche down on our target, the better. We don't want to target everyone, because if we target everyone, we target no one. I think we all know that. So to the extent that you can not only get into firmographic and demographic targeting, but then behaviors and expectations, motivations, what's driving that persona, that really helps in formulating your content marketing strategy and mission statement. So the who question, and it's often referred to as the avatar. And so John Lee Dumas, famous podcaster, he has an avatar that's comprised of an age, gender, and even some psychological and behavioral characteristics. Once again, just kind of informs the way the content will be received. So we have the who question covered. What's delivered? Well, what type of content are you delivering? So what content type? Video, audio, text? On what platform? what are you delivering? What are you saying? What are you trying to accomplish? And is it helpful tips? Is it resources? Is it applications? Is it macroeconomic trends? Once again, because content marketing covers all aspects of the funnel, and upper funnel content, of course, should be problem solving kind of macro information. Lower funnel content, of course, can be more features and benefits, more salesy information, if you will. So what are we delivering on a consistent basis? And consistent is the key. And then what's the outcome for the audience? So if you have your who and your what nailed down, and then what outcome are we expecting? Yeah, and as Dennis says, Dennis is making a great comment here. So this point is made quite often from our friends at Joe Polizzi, our good friend at the CMI. They were a pure play blog for about a year. Like all they did was blog and really just produce lots of great content in written form. And now, as you can see, an aggressive extension into really driving a sense of community and building deeper relationships and establishing more emotional connections with their audience. And so to answer that last question, the outcome for the audience, well, the DOYO Live audience here. We are a great, strong community, and the goal is to help each other, right? It's help each other with tips, tricks, techniques, trends, things to help make our jobs and lives easier, things to help us grow our business, maybe grow the top line, or even be more efficient on the bottom line. Just be more productive and be more efficient and effective. And so the outcome for the audience is not simply, I want the outcome to be they're going to buy my product. No, I want the outcome to be, how can we make their lives better? And so to the extent that we're making our audience's lives better in the sense that we can help them, then that's amazing. So let's circle back once again, the content marketing strategy and mission statement. Who's the target, what's delivered, and the outcome for the audience. And if you have that governing strategy, and it's 2 to 3 sentences at the most, nice big font size, print it off, hang it up on your wall in several places, right? I have a couple on my wall here, and I think we need an effect. I do think we need an effect. So I'm thrilled that we have a content marketing strategy and mission statement, and I'm thrilled that that governs our approach on a consistent basis, because without it, I still would be wrestling with and struggling with this tyranny of choice, because we have way too many options out there to choose from today. So that being said, I love you and thank you for viewing the session today. It was a lot of fun. I'm going to be here appearing every Wednesday. But even though there's snow outside and it's the middle of March and St. Patrick's Day is tomorrow, I'm feeling like spring is in the air. And spring has sprung right out of the side of my head. And I know that we're going to have an amazing spring and heading into the summer to the great DOYO Live events at the early part of August. So it was great chatting with you today. Once again, please share how you are breaking the tyranny of choice. What are you doing? Have you devised a strategy to really focus your efforts, be more productive, and just get out of this, this cycle of constantly posting and spinning in circles and driving social activity. And as we know, social activity just disappears into the timeline eventually, right? It gets buried. So to the extent that we can build a platform and illustrate our knowledge and expertise in a consistent way, that's the goal. So thanks again. Had fun with the effects, and we'll talk to you again soon. See you next week. Have a great day.